What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. There's a clip here where Batman and Cheetah kisses in the Justice League cartoons. This is a very popular clip. People watch it all the time. You see it show up on the internet. But one thing nobody's really talking about is this particular clip is from an episode titled Injustice for All that exposes how the writers of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League do not know Batman as a character. I strongly believe that the writing room at Rocksteady was basically overtaken by people who have no idea or clue that who this character actually has been portrayed to be. This is not a critique on the writing of the Suicide Squad writers. No, this is actually a critique on their knowledge or lack thereof of the character's capabilities, and that character being Batman, Bruce Wayne. In this episode that I'm showing you this clip from, I watched it just recently, and I was watching it with my kids. I've basically taken all the new cartoons away from my kids, most of them, not all of them. And I've started buying DVDs of the good old stuff. I mean, they've watched the 90-something X-Men. They're not going to watch the new one until I assess that. That might be crap for all I care. I don't know what these writers are even dreaming these days. They've watched a lot of the old Spider-Man and Friends, and then we're doing the Justice League series now, and very soon I'm gonna continue the Batman 1992 animated series. I bought the entire thing on DVD. I just need to buy the movie that followed it so that they can see some really good storytelling and plot building. In this episode titled Injustice for All from the Justice League 2000s or so series, Batman is captured, and in his captivity, he literally plays a psychological game against those who wanted to kill the Suicide Squad. And at the end of it, and I'm going to spoil it for you because I have to, Batman basically, from his captivity, destroys their entire plan with Lex Luthor and, some of the other characters that are actually brought in to try to, take out the Justice League. Lex is trying to take out the Justice League. That's basically what he's trying to do, right? But Batman basically remains in captivity on purpose. At the end, the Joker tries to come and take him out, and the Joker doesn't find him in his little captive spot. And the Joker's like, and then he turns, basically Joker turns around and he punches the Joker, and the Joker's like, "That's not fair. How did you, escape?" And he said, "I could have escaped the whole time. I just wanted to stick around to know exactly what your plans were." When he said that, my children were like, "Oh," they were like, even I was like, "Yo, Brucey boy," because I think I'd only watched maybe the first bulk of the episodes because they used to show it on TV when I was growing up in Nigeria, and I didn't have the full access to the full thing, but I was a fan already. So now I'm watching the full thing. It's on Netflix, and I was like, your boy Bruce played the entire Suicide Squad, or the league that wanted to the league of bad guys that wanted to take out the Suicide Squad, the Justice League, sorry, not the Suicide Squad. So when they killed Batman here and Batman did not conquer Brainiac, to me, I said to myself, these writers have no clue who this character actually is. In fact, even before watching this, this episode, already everybody knew it. Everybody already knew that, there was just a mismatch in terms of intellect. Because what Brainiac represents is the intellectual antithesis of the collective of the Justice League. In my opinion, this is what I think. And with the Justice League versus Brainiac, it's almost usually taken a higher level of intellect to defeat Brainiac, because his highest braggadocious, I don't know, the braggart in him is always to talk about how he's smarter than everybody else. And for Batman not to be able to intellectually figure out a way to take out Brainiac, even though they said in the game in Suicide Squad that him basically taking over, the mind of a person is irreversible, I think Batman should have at least had a contingency to still take him out, regardless of Batman actually taking him out. This is how you know that these folk don't know the characters that they're writing. Let me give another critique as well, because I think this is very telling. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we must point these things out because, again, these characters don't really know. These writers don't know what's going on. Look at the Spider-Man that's actually in a game like Midnight Suns. The Spider-Man is actually a better representation than the Spider-Man in Marvel Spider-Man 2. The Spider-Man in Marvel Spider-Man 2018 was funny, was witty, just like Spider-Man is. The one in Midnight Suns was also very similar in the same way. That's basically how he deals with stress. But the Spider-Man in Marvel Spider-Man 2 was weak-willed, tired, worn down, beat up, white, washed out. It was just weird seeing that kind of Peter Parker and going, yo, why am I more upbeat? And I'm not even the most upbeat person. Why am I more upbeat than Peter Parker? And you could tell that the writers that were basically in this particular writing room did not know who this character was. They were more interested in getting Mary Jane to take a zapper gun and go shoot out with Craven, his hunters. And they abandoned a warrior like Silver Sable. They abandoned a warrior herself who had been on the front lines of crime like Yuri. They abandoned a very capable fighter like Prowler, who were all sitting in their universe. Prowler had a freaking ankle bracelet and said, oh, I can't leave. I can't do anything. The city is dying. Prowler having a different kind of love for the city, being somebody who worked in the city. Remember in Marvel Spider-Man, in Miles Morales, right? When Miles basically goes and does his first mission, he does it for his uncle Aaron, who's actually, I think is I don't know if it's a transportation worker or something. So his city is basically burning and he's sitting there in an ankle bracelet because these writers have no idea who the characters that they're writing are in these video games. I've been saying this, since I saw Spider-Man. I was like, this is not a very true representation of the character. This is a bunch of nonsense. And this is the kind of nonsense that, ladies and gentlemen, we must look at and be aware of. I'm looking at the Wonder Woman game and going, do these people even know how to write Wonder Woman? Because it's a slam dunk, for those who may be wanting to say, okay, yeah, we want to get us a strong female character or whatever it is. All right, you have basically the strongest female character that you can think about, or one of the strongest female characters you can think about. How are you going to write it now? So we're in a very strange position to see if these writers actually, it's not about their talent. It's a slam dunk when you're writing a superhero that has a body of work. Let's not play games with that. But I'm not confident that they can actually pull it off and write a good Wonder Woman story. Just seeing how they had other possibilities to be able to, basically achieve what it is that they've been saying they want to achieve, which is representation in these characters in these video games, right? So you see Silver Sable, right? Perfectly capable. I mean, in Spider-Man 1, basically, she shook Spider-Man up. I mean, that's literally her character archetype. Even in Marvel Spider-Man, what's the name of the Shattered Dimensions or so? She gives Spider-Man a lot of issues. I'm talking about video game writing. I'm not even in the comic space yet. I'm not, you guys know, you're the ones that recommend comics for me. But in the video games, when you look at the writing and the way they are represented, you can see that now there's basically a tone down of all of this. So again, I think if things don't change, more and more and more, we're going to be seeing, superhero games become more and more irrelevant if the writers and if the directors do not take charge of where they want their stories to go. They leave their stories to these poor writers and, talentless. I think these people are just basically slithering their way in to try to make money, and that's all they want, and then think that they're doing something good or something, relevant. They're going to drive these characters into irrelevance, and no one's going to literally know anything about them. But the indie scene is still at work. We're doing some work, and so hopefully we can come in and we can entertain the fans. It's going to be hard, but, someone's got to actually, present some work that is, worth, looking into in a sense. And I'm very excited to be, working towards that. But anyways, I'll get out of here. Thanks so much for watching the video. Appreciate you guys' time and audience. Peace out.